Hello and welcome back to the Yard, the backyard podcast that was started up in 2011 by Alex McConnell and ran for 3 shows. And I kind of brought it up to Alex recently for us to kind of restart the podcast with both of us kind of hosting, alternate shows every now and again. And yeah, so we kind of decided to go for it, and we've recorded a lot already, so you can be rest assured that at least for a month, I'm guessing, there'll be weekly podcasts. Every, I'd say, Sunday, Monday, something like that. We'll figure it out anyway. There'll probably be a post where we put this up kind of on a concrete date, I guess. But anyway, the first one, number 4, will be a conversation I had with GBH, Alec. I kind of didn't really speak to him that much until maybe his last run in NAW, and we kind of got on well then. But yeah, I hadn't spoken to him in about 6 years, something ridiculous like that. But very last minute, we jumped on Skype and did a pretty cool conversation, I think. So yeah, that's it. Without further ado, enjoy the show. So how's it going, man? I haven't spoken to you in like fucking 6 years or something.
Yeah, man. Well, when was Heath? Yeah, 2009.
Yeah,
would have been, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Long time.
Kind of felt old as fuck.
Yeah, just a little bit. So how's life? How's things?
Yeah, it's alright, man. Yeah, it's all good. Just keeping busy in that. Engaged. What's that about? That's crazy.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, that's all alright. Yeah. Still cool, man.
Still doing your music and your illustrating and stuff?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Working a shitty job, but trying to keep busy with the band and that.
Yeah.
It's keeps me sane. Now there's no wrestling. It's like it's the only thing keeps me sane, man.
Yeah. Well, we're doing this really randomly. I mean, I just messaged you and we're just like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm currently hungover, so this is going to be well fun.
So I got no notes or anything, but I think that's probably going to be the best way to go anyway, really.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I guess one thing that we should start off with is how did you get into wrestling? That would be a cool thing to start off with, if you can even remember.
I think first time I was probably man. When I was really little, when I was about 6. We had a neighbour who used to have all the old wrestling videos, Best of Ultimate Warrior, all that sort of stuff. Watched those religiously. Stopped watching it a bit when my brothers, they're older than me, they stopped watching it. I was about 13, started getting back into it, proper Attitude Era. Yeah, and then from there really I was just watching it, and then as soon as you start watching it when you're 13, you start wrestling in school,
Yeah.
You start going, let's go down the park, and trying to do really shitty suplexes to your mates. And yeah, that was it basically. As soon as I started watching it again, it was like, alright, cool, I can do this. And I couldn't, but yeah, no, man. So yeah, I'd say that when I was 13, then that's when I really obsessed, got into it big time, man.
Yeah. Who were some of your favourites watching growing up?
I don't think you're allowed to say this word anymore, but Benoit.
Yeah.
Oh man, watching Benoit, fucking hell. Jericho. I guess I was a little bit older when I really started getting into the actual technical wrestlers.
Yeah.
So, but as soon as I saw the Guerrero Malenko matches and stuff from ECW, that was a big thing. But I think when I first started watching it, it was probably the Hardys when I was watching WWF. But yeah, it kind of evolved as soon as I started getting tapes from VHSs from we had some catalogue. I don't know if you ever did this. Did you ever do the tape trading catalogue thing?
No, I never did.
My stepdad had found some website where this guy sent you a catalogue of just his big index of wrestling tapes.
Wow.
And I was probably 14 at the time, and it had hundreds on there, man, Best of Super Junior, all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
And so I started ordering when I was probably about 14. I'd get stuff for Christmas, and I'd just mark off 10 tapes I wanted. They were £4 each or something. Really bad quality, but so I started doing that quite young and just getting all these crazy Japanese tapes, and then loads of really shitty death matches. Because that was a big phase as well, man. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, nowadays you're online, it's easy, isn't it? But
yeah, click of a button.
It's crazy. Wish we had that when I was a kid, man.
Oh yeah.
It would have been so much easier.
So when did you start, like, I mean, obviously, I think we all gone through that period where we just, like, mess around with mates and stuff.
Yeah.
We don't really consider it as backyard wrestling. When did you first discover even the term backyard wrestling?
It was ENBW. I don't know if you remember those guys. They were like the
Yeah.
first.
I wasn't around for them, but I've seen the stuff.
I think we had. Oh god, it's not even Google. We were in school and we used some shitty search engine thing and we put in again like we didn't even know the term backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
So I think we just put in like I can't remember what we put in, but that was the people that came up and they were crazy. Like obviously they put up like a few video clips, 4-second video clips of some guy doing a power bomb, but it's like, oh my god, those kids are our age and they can power bomb. And that was probably really, man, like what sparked us actually really trying it ourselves and being like, oh, we can actually do this, because you see these little kids in tracksuit bottoms and hoodies like doing moonsaults and stuff, and you're like, oh man, you know what, like we could do that. And then I remember the best of backyard, those shitty American tapes. Yes. I heard about those somewhere, and then that led me into a dark, horrible path of stealing barbed wire and stuff, and being like, yeah, let's do death matches. This will be good, Yeah, man. Yeah, so that would have been probably again. That was just after I started watching wrestling, so like 14 probably.
Yeah.
When we've already started. Yeah.
That was the first time I became familiar with it. Was the Best of Backyard Wrestling Volume 1.
Yeah.
And I don't know who else can say this, but it was my dad who introduced me to it.
Oh, really?
He was like into like boxing and then UFC back when it was starting.
I guess it was kind of like quite a curious thing anyway. It's quite a phenomenon, like culturally, wasn't it? Because it really took over for a couple of years in America. It was like, Jerry Springer and stuff had like backyard wrestlers on.
Yeah, my dad was like, this is backyard wrestling. But yeah, that's
cool. Funny story, man. We actually sent in a tape. Oh man, I forgot about that. Me and my friend Darren, we actually made a tape of this shit death match. We'd never filmed ourselves before.
Yeah. We
had this shitty death match, like barbed wire, like I think there was fire. It was stupid, man.
Yeah.
And we sent it off to them for, I think it was like the 4th tape. So that would have been probably a couple of years after the first one came out. And we got this request form for like release form, and they were going to put it in the thing. And luckily by that time, it was a good probably year after we sent the tape. We were like, we probably shouldn't be on this tape.
Yeah.
And so, oh man, I haven't thought about that for years. So we didn't sign this release form because I was like, yeah, I don't want to be. And it was shit. Like, it was shit. But it was obviously like what they wanted, I guess, 2 kids beating each other up.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh man. Yeah, so I could have been Best of Backyard famous. Luckily I didn't do that.
What about the forum then? When was your first experience with that? Did that go through finding the ENBW clips?
I think so. I really can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember who introduced me to it, but we went through quite a few generations of it. So I remember being on there, and then I think it moved around a lot at the start.
Yeah.
So I remember being on there for a really long time and not posting, and just like watching videos, like really short videos, before we were confident enough to be like, all right, let's film ourselves, and try and show ourselves to the world. It was quite a while. Of just watching. I can't remember what was there, but it would have been Ian. I don't think they were posting much on there. I think it was what are they called? SWA.
Yeah.
Do you remember that they were like the ENBW rivals? It's those boys. I remember those guys being on there, and I want to say Dan Selby, their ECW, but I don't think it was even called ECW then. I remember him and Oz, they had like this little ring. I can't remember what the film was called, but we were on there quite early, and I just like kind of stalk it a little bit and just see who was around and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that would have been 2000 and probably late 2001. I imagine, because then I think 2002 we actually started filming, putting stuff online.
So who were you wrestling with then when you started? Did you like think, right, we're gonna have a fed and make videos and stuff?
I think what it was, me and Benj, who was in the Fed, we kind of had, this is actually, you've reminded me, man, this is how we got into it. We were doing like fantasy wrestling, like online. I was like booking these fake shows, and my friend was doing it too. And I think one day we were like, we should like do this fake show we've booked?" And that's literally like the first time I went over to his garden on his birthday. That's how funny. It was just me and him on his birthday, and we just wrestled in his back garden with these fake shows, being all these different fake wrestlers we had invented. Yeah, man. But yeah, so at the start it was there was literally like 4 of us. It was me and Ben, who was Mikey Wreckage, and Matt, who was Rage, and my mate Darren, who was his name was Tiger. And there was a couple of other kids that kind of dropped out a bit, but us 4 were XBW.
Yeah.
Before we became XBW-UK, which is a shit name. But yeah, we were doing it a lot, and in school as well we did it quite a bit. But I think the Fed itself was always just us 4 having 10 matches a day and filming it all, and putting on a mask and being like, yeah, I'm a different wrestler now.
Yeah.
Wearing the same exact gear, but I've got a mask on. Doesn't really make sense, but
I think I stooped as low once to just wrap a black t-shirt around my head and cut a hole in it. And just...
We did all that sort of shit, man. We did some stupid shit, and just like, or some guy coming with a hat on and be like, yeah, this is like some other guy. And you don't really care about that stuff when you're younger, I think.
No.
You're just like, well, you don't show the tape to anyone, but...
Yeah. And what about comps? Who was in charge of or did you even do comps, or did you just start out doing clips? Or
I think the first stuff we ever started doing was little clips. I had this little camera that was a really shitty digital camera, like one of the first ones they put out, and you could film an 8-second clip.
Yeah.
And for me, that like blew my mind.
Yeah.
Just this little digital video of 8 seconds. So the first stuff we started doing was literally like someone would get on a roof, and you'd start filming, they'd jump off the roof onto someone, and that was the first few. Or like you'd take a really shitty choke slam onto like, I don't know, onto like 4 thumbtacks and be like, yeah, it's a clip. But when we started doing proper comps, I remember buying like the first capture card thing, and that was pretty crazy. Like we could actually upload more. But even back then, like you couldn't upload more than 4 minutes of video. So yeah, I started making these video sets of music, which is completely like ripping off all this stuff I'd seen on the forum, Yeah. You go, oh, that's a good song, and just rip the song from some video you liked.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, that was a good, I'd say the first year of making comps was just stealing other people's music.
So did you find yourself like taking it more seriously now that you were kind of in the community kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I think there was, as soon as we started posting videos and getting feedback, when people tell you something that's so obvious but you don't see it.
Yeah.
So like, I remember someone it was Selby. I remember because we were doing this shitty deathmatch stuff for ages. Well, like a good, from when we started wrestling till 2002 or something. And I remember Selby saying on the forum, he's like, guys, like we would care more if you knew how to like wrestle. Like if you can do a good headlock and do like some good stuff, like we're gonna praise that more than seeing some shitty bump, like badly done bump and boil. And that just was it. Like I just stopped doing it. As soon as I saw that, I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. Like we're wasting all this energy building stupid like light tube tables and stuff, and taking shit bumps, like feet first through them. And yeah, I remember thinking, okay, and that really inspired us to, or me especially, to go like, okay, I like this technical wrestling stuff. I'm going to try and do that, and so that was a big deal, getting that advice sort of thing. And I think that's generally the consensus anyway. So many people were doing shitty bumps and trying to get like the shock value thing. That it's good to have someone say, no, if you can like learn how to wrestle, that's that's what you want to do. So yeah, so that's when I got into actual, and then we went to started going to training. When was that? That would have been probably end of 2002, I think. We went to training a couple of times. Only went a few times really, learned the basics, and then just fucked around from there really. That's what you need to do, man. You go to 2, and you know how to like tie it up. You know how to do some arm locks now. You just make up the rest. Yeah. You just watch like Doug Williams tapes and make up the rest of it by yourself. That's what I did anyway.
Well, I remember that when I first heard about you and your Fed and stuff, like you were the guy who was kind of, that was your thing, the technical wrestling.
Yeah.
That was kind of what you were known for, I guess, when you started going to interfeds and stuff.
Yeah.
So how long was it, like, from when you started your fed and joined the forum before you went to, like, the first
Oh,
interfed or whatever it was?
I think it would have been early 2003. So we started 2002-ish. By 2003, we started getting quite a bit better. Like, it was just me and Rage and Mikey Wreckage. But, it's like a 3-4 person fed. But we
Hmm.
started being able to do some moves and that. And then the first people that ever came down to us, the first interactions with anyone we'd ever spoke to on the forum, was Dan Dreamer and Costa came down
Wow.
for a show with. Imagine that they come down. And there's three of us there.
Ah, sorry, I remember that. I remember
Yeah,
seeing that
yeah,
comp,
yeah.
and I was like,
It's
this is so
crazy.
weird. Yeah,
I
go on.
think Ben just spoke to Dreamer online or something on MSN, and said, "Oh, you should come down," and they did, and we were like, "All right, this is mental."
Yeah.
And it was funny, like we had no concept of marking out what marking out was, or so. So I think I want to say that they had a match first, and we were fucking silent. Like one of us
Ugh.
filmed it, one of us was the ref, so there's one of us, and it was just silent. And they were doing those mad bumps and that, and we were like, "Oh, that's really cool." But for some reason, we were just like, "Yeah, don't make any noise." We don't know, like, "Oh, it's well weird, yeah." But that was the first time we ever met anyone, and they were nice enough to be like, "Oh, you guys are all right," you know.
Yeah.
You're really quiet, but you're all right. Um,
No concept of marking out,
just
love it.
no, yeah, because on the comps, I don't know, it's just it
Yeah,
was
because
it
the
wasn't
early
even a
comps didn't
thing.
have any
Yeah, and
audio,
then
did they?
no, it was just music, and you don't realize, and because it was such a small fed, there's only a few of us. Like literally, normally it'd be one person filming, two people wrestling, and one ref, and that's how you'd let it out. So there wouldn't even be a crowd. Like you'd be
Yeah.
wrestling to the camera. So we were used to that silence. So yeah, as soon as we started wrestling with crowds, we're like, oh, people are actually like making noise and stuff. It's crazy. Um, and then I think the first time we went to FUX. I don't even know. Was it THD? No, it must have been FUX. Was the first time we ever travelled um, for a show. I think they just started calling themselves FUX, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it was. It might have been THD. But yeah, we went down to see those boys, and yeah, yeah, that was the first time. I think they're just again. It's probably MSN like, oh, we should come down, and I forced my stepdad to drive us down. It's like, oh, it's only up the road, and it wasn't. It's a good couple of hours drive away. It's like, could you just pop us down to Bedford, please? Um, so that's the first time we ever did a kind of interfed, which would have been early 2003, I think,
Hmm.
which is cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Nice meeting those boys.
So where did the GBH name come from? Was that from the start or later on?
Oh yeah, man. I think it actually started. I think I think it was WrestleMania 2000, right? The video game.
Yeah.
I
Great
was
game.
making a wrestler on that, and in the next room there's a news story, and I just heard that word being used in this news story. So I was like, "Oh, that's good, Chief. Oh, right, I could use that as a wrestler." So it stuck around for ages as like a create a wrestler kind
Yeah.
of thing. And then when we started actually wrestling, that was just the one that I went straight to. Like, oh, I've already kind of got this idea about this character, and so just started using it, and it just stuck. And yeah, so it's actually like video game name. Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
What about the old Punisher T-shirt?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Because I always really liked it when a Yada had like a certain thing they'd always wear, like a kind of it was just cool, you know.
Yeah, I think it was kind of a but when we first started, I didn't have any wrestling gear. You're wrestling in. I think I started wrestling in like ripped jeans.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think it was like, oh, I can wear this every time, and that's my wrestling attire. And
Hmm.
then when I got actual wrestling attire, I was still kind of like, oh yeah, this is my thing. And got so I think I've still got it somewhere. It's like so ripped and shitty
yeah.
now.
I
It's
bet.
but by the end, it was just like it basically didn't have. It just had holes all over it and stuff. But I don't know why I started wearing that one. Um, I think it was just and it's one of those t-shirts though that so many yarders. It's such a strong image, isn't it? So many backyarders have used it.
Yeah,
But I think it was just a really nice, bold sort of t-shirt. Yeah.
yeah. So you went to I remember reading Farrell's book like years ago, and he was I'm pretty sure you went to an NLW interfed. Was it Mind Games or
Yeah, yeah.
was that the one?
It was the one. Do you remember that TV show that Lock Up Your Sons?
Yeah.
It was right after that.
Yeah.
Literally, they the show was on one week, and it was like the next week or something was this Mind Games.
Yeah.
In a Fed. So it was well weird going there and feeling like I knew everyone. Because I went there and literally was like, oh, you were on the show, you know, and really did feel like I knew people. It was weird. I was walking up to people like, oh, you're right, mate, and thinking, oh, they haven't met me yet. I think before that we'd had, probably a month before that, we'd gone to FUX Lethal Lottery, which was the first time I met like Selby and Dave, Hollywood Phallus, and those guys. So I felt like I knew a few people when we went up there, because we'd already kind of met a few of them. But then, yeah, Mind Games was still a big deal, like biggest crowd, kind of biggest amount of people I'd ever wrestled in front of.
Yeah.
And obviously you're wrestling in front of people that are, you know, at that time were like crazy good. So you kind of feel intimidated. You walk in like, hi, you know, you know, meeting Selby, and then like watching him wrestle and being like, shit, I've got to like wrestle now. Shit. It's good though. I haven't actually read Farrell's book. I remember he put it out a while ago.
He released it literally over 10 years ago now.
Do you think that's too late to pick it up? I'm a slow reader, man, but like shit, that's a long time to leave it before reading. Yeah. If I knew I was in it, man, I would have read it straight away.
Yeah.
Can you just like bookmark my pages, highlight my pages, man? I'll get around to reading them.
Yeah. The Cliff Notes version.
Yeah. Just pull out some quotes. Yeah.
Who did you wrestle at Mind Games then? Do you remember? I can't remember.
Day one was Dave. We had a really good match actually, because we'd wrestled a couple of months before at that Lethal Lottery event, the FUX event, which was literally names out of a hat. That's how they did the card then. So it was actually quite cool. Like, I met him at that FUX event. We all got up the night before. They all came up the night before and stayed before the event. So I remember he came and sat down next to me, and we spent like 2 hours talking about like Japanese wrestling, all these things we loved. And then they kind of started doing the card, pulling these names out of a hat, and we got each other. So I was like, oh, cool. You know, I've had this really good chat with this guy we're wrestling. We had a pretty good match at FUX, and the actual Mind Games event, it was really nice, like really easy to work with, because it was kind of, and he's probably one of my favourite opponents anyway, because it's so easy with Dave. Like, you just go, all right, let's beat the shit out of each other, and then you do that, and then it's a really good match. So yeah, we beat the shit out of each other. But it was fun, man. Yeah, and then I think day two I had. Do you remember business? Was it the business? Yeah, Matt Simpson. Yeah, wrestled the business, and he's probably the funniest person maybe I've ever met. Like, the dude is always just really, really funny. Like, everything he says is hilarious, man. So yeah, I had a match against him day two, which is pretty good. But yeah, it's more just, you know, as an experience, your first interfed, it was crazy. Like, you know, I think first time I'd really been away by myself for a weekend. Yeah. I was probably 16, I think. Wow. 15, 16. So I like, had to borrow money to get there and stuff. Yeah. Like, can I have some birthday money? Saved it up.
Yeah, it's a bit different from just going 2 hours away or something. I mean, I'm guessing it was a bit longer than that for you to get down to Newport.
It wasn't too bad. I think it's 3.5 hours. Yeah. I'm on train, but it's the first time I'd ever really got
like stayed overnight and stuff.
Yeah.
What was you just like camping out, obviously?
Yeah. No, I think actually the first time, Mind Games, it was really horrible and wet. I think I stayed at, whose house did I stay at? Shit, I stayed at someone's house up there. The first time I went, I can't remember whose. Maybe it was like Tom's. Fuck, I can't remember. Reaper. Yeah, I think it was his house. I think, and there was like 15 of us in this little house, because it was just raining. They were like, "You can't camp; it's too wet." Yeah. I want to say I stayed at Birdie's one day as well. I think that was then. I'm pretty sure the second day we stayed at Birdie's, which is pretty funny. Because again, like, I think I was sleeping under something. It was really weird, man. We were all just packed into these houses. Like, that was cool though. Yeah, it was a really good experience. I think I went something like 7 times in 6 months or something.
Wow.
I think I went to every interfed from Mind Games till the next year's Welsh Fest.
I think that was their last big one.
I think I hit all of them because every time I'd be like, okay, I've got to go to this one.
Yeah.
Because they were...
I can't believe people did interfeds in Newport in like October, December,
no. Yeah,
like the worst months.
The worst one we did, because we did... So Mind Games happened, then we had Hell Frozen Over, which is not a pun. Like, it was the fucking coldest
I bet.
ever. And I think that one I stayed at someone's house as well, I think. Then we had... the worst one, I think, was... Arse Kicking. There's an event called Arse Kicking and Whip Flicking. I think that was the next one. There was one of them anyway that was where I camped, and it was so cold, man. Like, it was stupid. It was probably March time, and oh man, it was the worst idea ever. But yeah, it's funny how people come out. You're like, look, do you want to go to Wales when it's really cold and it's really wet, and you know it's going to be because of this time of month? And people are like, yeah, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
It seemed bizarre, but no, that's the place to go for a while, man. Those had the biggest events.
Yeah, definitely. That was like the gold standard of interfeds for a while.
And I think because they had the space, you know, that golf course was just... I think it was an old golf course. It was just so much space. No one's going to bother you there.
What was the atmosphere like from like the first one you went to till the last one? Because I remember hearing that it kind of changed and...
No, I think it was alright, man. Like, yeah, never really had any bad experiences there. I think the best one we had would have been Wrestling Is It Boys. I think it was my favourite. Not as many people there. It was the day that I had the match against... I had Reaper day one, and I had... I can't remember his name now.
Kyle, Roadkill.
Yes, the retirement match.
Oh god, yeah.
Not kidding, like, it was quite a small group of us compared to some of the other ones, but by the end of that, like, we had this match, everyone cried.
Yeah.
We really bonded over that match. It's crazy. And then I remember like being on the bus to the station home, and everyone's like, there's a real nice sense of community in that one, because it was a smaller group of people, but it's a really tight. No, it's cool though. By the end, I mean, I think the last one I went to, which was Welshie, that was cool because it did almost feel like the last one though to me. It did kind of feel like, oh, these can't go on for much longer.
Yeah.
I think by then some people had like retired. Well, not retired, you know, people had kind of said they're retiring, and people were kind of doing their own thing a little bit more. But I mean, that one had like Pack in that game, so it felt bigger, you know, having those guys there.
Yeah.
Because, you know, any event where you've got like Barnsley and Pack and that wrestling, it's kind of mental.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh yeah, shit, it really steps up quite a lot.
Well, going back to that match with Roadkill.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about like a match like that where people do get emotional about it?
Dude,
do you think...
you know what? Like, I don't know if anyone knows this. He didn't tell me that he was gonna have that as his retirement match.
Right.
We made a plan for the match. He was like, "Oh, you can win," and we planned it out. I went out. He comes out and like cuts a promo and says, "The loser has to leave backyard." So I'm fucking so furious with him, and I think as well because I think when you're a bit younger, like I thought, oh, if he retires, I'm never going to see him again. Obviously, you know, he doesn't, but so I get really emotional during the match anyway. And I think if you watch it back, we kind of said to each other, let's like, you know, go stiff on each other and that, but I think we were really kicking the shit out of each other because it was quite an emotional kind of thing, you know. It's like, I was really annoyed with him. I was just like, man, you could have told me, I could have prepared for it, but I was kind of waiting for him to come out, and then I hear that, I'm like, shit.
That's interesting.
And I know I'm going over, and I'm like, shit, these people are going to be really upset, and then I'm getting upset, so I'm like, fuck, I have to not be upset. So it's really probably one of my favourite matches, man, because even now, if I watch the comp back, I'm like, really, it was really nicely laid out. Well, it wasn't really planned, it was, again, more just, let's beat each other up for 15 minutes, but...
That was a great one. I really love that match. I remember watching that comp just being like, oh.
Yeah, it was You know, it was obviously, again, because it's so emotional, it's kind of I think that added to it for me, is that when it was over, like, everyone legitimately had a tear in their eye, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, you don't get that much in Backyard, you know, where it's really people are invested like that.
Yeah, I like those moments where it's a bit more real and stuff. But you know, it's just back then. I mean, how seriously did you take the whole backyard wrestling thing? Like,
oh yeah, man, too much.
yeah, I think we've all had that, haven't we? Where we just kind of it becomes everything.
I think it's hard.
Always thinking about it.
Yeah, and it's hard to explain to people. You know,
it really is.
Now, you know, I'll talk to someone about it and they're like, really? And I say, yeah, but it really was everything for a while. You know, it was. You know, I think when I started doing a lot of the interfeds, I think I just left school. So I think it was my first year of college where I really started doing it a lot. So I just didn't care about college really. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna do this and every week, especially when EWE started and we're doing it every fortnight. It would just be waiting for these shows. It would just be, you know, planning out matches and thinking about it for 2 weeks until the show. So, no, yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of my college work suffered as well due to wrestling, and I actually kind of.
I think that's kind of why I felt like I had to step back from it a bit, to be honest. Because it was really like, okay, I need to actually try and pass this course. I think if that and getting hurt as well, I think if I hadn't got hurt, I would have probably carried on hard, you know. But yeah, no, I just thought I'd probably step away from it before I do any more.
So when did you get hurt then? What was that?
Would have been September 2004.
Okay.
We were doing EWE for most of that year. It was going really well. I decided to do a senton off the top of a ladder when the guy's too far away. And if you see the video of it, it's well funny. I jump and as I'm jumping, I'm like, I'm not going to make this.
Yeah.
So I put my arm down and just break my elbow. Just so stupid. Damn. And then even then, you know, I then recover for... No, I think that happened in... No, it might have been September. And then I spent a couple of months healing, and then I went straight back into it. Like, didn't have time to recover properly. Just went, oh yeah, I can kind of move my arm now. Just went straight back into wrestling again. Which is pretty silly, but...
Did you further hurt the arm, or was it...
Oh yeah, I chipped it a few times.
Yeah.
I hurt it again... probably 6 months after the first time, which I actually hurt it in the first move. I had a freeway against Tyrant and Rage at a GBW indoor show, I think the first one they ran, and I took a spinning heel kick from John and just landed on my arm, and I could just feel it like chip my elbow again. The first move, it's like fuck. So I just had to like carry on, just pretend it didn't happen. Yeah, shit like that, you know. Now I'm like, maybe I should have not done it, and yeah, but still though, good match in the end. But.
Well, EWE you just mentioned.
Yeah, man.
What was that like? Because I'm assuming because your fed was so small, you didn't really have many storylines going on.
No.
From what I remember, your comps were just kind of matches and stuff.
Yeah, it was just...
What was it like doing the kind of weekly, or you said every 2 weeks, storylines?
We'd film 2 shows a fortnight and then put them out as weekly comps, and they were cool, man. I think that it was good in a way. It was nice people coming down for it and getting the chance to work with people I remember, I think it's the 3rd show I got to work with Jimmy Birch, who I don't think I've even met before, and just stuff like that. And you know, Farrell would bring random people down to work shows, and I always like that because they gave me the belt on the first show. Gave me the belt. Sorry, let me just laugh at that for a second. But no, I would have, you know, they'd bring in people to kind of face the champion and stuff. So I did get to work with some pretty cool people. I mean, some of it annoyed me a little bit. You know, you had some people there that they just thought... did you ever meet X or ever hear about X-Con?
I heard a lot about him, but...
like, just stuff like that used to annoy me. You know, they'd spend ages doing some video with him, and then he'd be in a match, and it just felt a bit like, I don't know, it just felt a bit like, what a waste of everyone's time. And there are a few guys like that shouldn't have really even been there, but it was kind of more like, oh, we find these people funny.
Sounds like Farrell's doing.
Yeah, a little bit, and I just felt more like we should have been, you know, giving given more time to actually like do the wrestling side of it. But it was nice having that show, and it was nice having a regular. I think that's the first time I've really had a regular. Every 2 weeks we're having a show.
Yeah.
And I think a few times we moved it around because of interfeds, but generally it's every 2 weeks there's a show, and that was really cool. I did feel like I got a lot better in that time. Definitely, 2004. Yeah, did feel like I learnt a lot.
Well, Farrell was like the orchestrator behind that, right? Or one of the people who started the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it was him and fuck, I can't remember, man. Him and Sparks. He was a guy from Byfleet.
And it was EW was in your area, right?
Yeah, it was literally right down the road from me. It was like
right.
20 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we had quite a good area to do it. I don't know why they chose that. I think it was just because it was like a bit of a middle point for people.
Yeah.
And it was we used to wrestle in like the field of a school. So and like we pretty much just no one ever bothered us kind of there. It's quite hidden. But yeah, it was like right down the road from me. It was really easy. Where we used to do the XBW shows.
Cool.
So I guess it's kind of my arena.
Yeah.
Right, my local arena, I guess.
When did that break up then, EWE?
I think it would have been...
What was the reason?
Yeah, I got hurt in September-ish. And then I think they tried to run another show and not as many people came. And then I think there was only like a couple more shows after that where they just kind of started, less people started coming. They started being more frantic, not as often and stuff. And then I think the last show we did was I put on a benefit show. I put on a show, one of my friends had passed away, so I wanted to do like a more interfedy type event thing. And I put that on, and like I think half the people who regularly came didn't come, and it just felt like it was over. I don't think they ever really said, "Oh, it's not happening anymore." It just kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was a shame, but I think by that point I think it ran its course. It kind of did its job, and I never lost the belt, so I'm still champion. So, I mean, that's what you want to do, right? Like, I wish I still had that shitty belt, man. It was so shitty. It was the worst belt. It was like someone had made it and just stuck like a tray on. Oh, it was so bad, and it was so shit. Oh, man.
What were some of your favourite matches that you had at EWE?
I really liked... I had a 45-minute Iron Man match with Dreamer.
Oh,
that was so good and so hard, and just like felt dead by the end of it. But that was one of my favourites because I didn't know if we could do it, because it was like, okay, we're going to do 45 minutes of... And if you watch the comp of it, like, you can tell by the end we're just dead, basically. We're just struggling, but it was cool, man. That was probably one of my favourites.
Well, what was the decision to go to 45 as opposed to an hour or half an hour?
I do think it was Farrell was like, "Oh, we've got this idea for Iron Man." I don't want to say it was my idea, but it might have been. I think he wanted to do half hour, and I said, "Oh, we could probably do an hour," and then it was like, might not be able to do an hour, maybe. Yeah. I think it's something like that, where
a bit more epic than a 30-minute, but not quite the.
Yeah, I think as well, like 45-minute match. If you watch the crowd, everyone's just sat on the floor. People are into it, but everyone's just sat on the floor, like watching it. You're like, it's hard to keep backyard wrestlers like standing for that long, but
definitely.
No, that was a good one. I had a match against Ads as well.
I love that match. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was thinking of.
That was cool actually, because we did that match, and then me and Farrell and Ads and a few of us went straight to Wales for Wrestling Is It Boys.
Yeah.
We did that event, and then we went straight to BBWF for an event. The only time I've ever done like a tour of, it was literally like 4 or 5 days of just wrestling around the country.
Nice.
So that always sticks in my mind because it was such a laugh, like having that match, getting on a train, going to Wales, wrestling, going to BBWF wrestling.
Nice.
It was well cool, man. Yeah, I think those two definitely.
Cool.
What else? Yeah, I think those two are probably the main two that I would... that really stuck in my mind as being really good ones. I had quite a good match against Farrell at one of the events. just because it was when you wrestle with Farrell, it's very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do kind of wrestle his match because he's like, I've got this spot and this spot and this spot. But I quite enjoyed trying to do different stuff with those. You know you're gonna have to back body drop him, and you know you're gonna have to like take an axe handle and stuff. But it was cool. It was fun.
Nice. Well, going back to again the Roadkill match.
Oh yeah.
A couple of months later, I'm guessing it was Welsh Fest.
Yeah.
But, and he wrestled again.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, did that bother you that he wrestled so soon after the retirement match? But because you said he threw it on you so much, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it did in a way because it was. I did
a special moment, like.
I think he had wrestled. Actually, I think he'd wrestled somewhere else before that. I think he had gone and wrestled an event with Selby. There were some guys from BBWF, I think. No, there were some guys from FUX. Sorry, who had this fed and they had like a little ring set up. And I think before Welsh, he had wrestled somewhere else first, and I was a bit annoyed at that. But then, you're annoyed for like 10 minutes, and you think, "Oh, it's backyard wrestling, man." Like,
yeah, exactly.
No one retires. Like, even I retired for like 3 years, and I still went back to it. Like,
yeah.
So I wasn't really bothered. I think that match stands up, and I think it helped make the match better. So, I think the emotion in it really did help.
Definitely.
So yeah, no, all good. All good there, yeah.
And at that Welsh Fest, you were in that big cage match,
with,
like Pac and everything. How was that? Because that was like such a ridiculous spot fest match.
It was good.
And I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah.
But how was it?
I don't even know if I had a match on day 2. So I had the match day 1, which was Johnson, I think. Day 2, me and Chris Taylor. We said, "Oh, do you want to wrestle?" And if you watch the comp, like me and him have this really stupid technical wrestling match at the start of the event.
Yeah.
No reason for it. We were just like, "Oh man, let's just wrestle first." You know when people are being lazy and no one wants to like get. Yeah. So we're like, "Yeah, let's go and do this." So we had this stupid match. We called it all out. I was going to say the ring. We called it out all in the match.
Yeah.
Just this stupid thing. And then after that match, someone pulled me aside and said, "Do you want to be in the 6-man in this match, the Cage of Death match?" I was like, okay. And that's how I got in the match. Someone just said, "Do you want to be in the match?" And I was like, all right, that's cool. And yeah. And then we all just planned, just spots, really. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. Most of it I spent watching, to be honest. I'd do a move and then I'd just watch Pac do some crazy thing off the cage and I'd be like, sick! And then I'd go and like take another move and then watch him do something else.
And you had another match involved, I'm pretty sure you were in a match with Pac at Betfest, right? Like the 4-way.
That would have been just before that one. That again was Dave said, "Do you want to be in this match with Pac and Little C?" And I was like, yes. Which would have been a little bit before, which was cool. I actually got to wrestle Pac a little bit in that one, because in the 6-man I don't think we really did much together, but that was a really good match. I almost forgot about that.
I remember that match was posted as a full match on the forum.
Yeah.
And it was just like, because I'd been wrestling and I'd see, we've all seen the match where someone just like, right, let's just do this, let's just do that. And then you see a match like that was just like 20 minutes of just like, it was like a proper great match,
Yeah, I think that was
flowing and everything.
That was kind of, we did kind of plan it out quite well in terms of being like, right, okay, we should do this and then go into that. And I think because there were so many parts to it, it was very much like, it was nicely choreographed in that way. That's the problem when you're doing 4-man. It's not like you can just all beat each other up for, you have to almost be like, then you tag this, but you have to try and work it out. Otherwise you're just kind of sat around. Yeah. No, that was a good one, man. I did feel like, oh, I've made it when you're in a match with Pac and you're like,
definitely.
Oh, man. That's, because he was the first guy I saw that really blew my mind.
Of course. Yeah.
So that was always kind of the goal.
How does it feel now knowing that you've wrestled him and you see what he's what he's doing now?
I watch NXT religiously, man.
Yeah, man.
The dude is
nuts.
I'm so happy for him. But I could have, I've watched some bits over the years from his career. Like I'd keep up with whatever he was doing in Japan and stuff. So I kind of knew he could make it there, and I hope he goes as far as he can in WWE, because he is legit such a nice dude, such a good wrestler. He definitely deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never had much. I was at one event that he was at, never spoke to him.
Yeah.
And there was always that reputation of him being a bit of a prick because of the ego on the forum.
Totally
but
not. No.
Everyone tells me it's the complete opposite.
I think I think it was probably more to do with just
The
that
forum,
the
the
forum and
persona.
the way people thought he would be, and I think as well a lot of people would just lick his ass as soon as he went somewhere. I know that at events before people were just like, oh, or people felt like they couldn't talk to him and stuff, but he was always a good dude to me, and
Yeah.
he was always really chilled and yeah, really really cool guy.
Well, I think a lot of people on the forum had a very different kind of image they project onto it, and then you'd meet them and it'd be like, oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I've had the same thing though, where I would not get on with someone on the forum, and then you meet them and you're like, oh, you're just a dude. I guess that's the way the internet works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just people just projecting different versions of themselves.
I was really intimidated by Farage,
Oh yeah,
it's a great story. I went to Newcastle to wrestle Steve,
oh yeah.
and he was having some problem with his ankle. And I said, "Are you gonna wrestle? Because if you're not, I won't come." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna wrestle. I'm gonna wrestle." Went to Newcastle, and Steve was just like walking around in literally like a Hawaiian shirt all day, just wasn't talking to me. And I'm like, "What the fuck's going on?" I'm sat down, and Farage walks over to me, and he just starts like miming strikes at the wall, and he's like, "We have to do some pure devastating strikes in this match, you know." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "When we wrestle." I looked over, and Steve was just like giggling in the
Oh
corner.
man, that's awesome.
But yeah, he turned out to be the nicest guy, and it was just like,
That is also a pretty spot on impression, I have to say.
Yeah.
First time I met Farage, like he came down to a XBW show we'd run, like an interfed, and he came down, stayed with me for like 3 days, and never met him before. Just spoke to him online, came down. Man, it was so funny. We had such a laugh, man. He just came down and like, oh, it was so funny. Yeah, and even we had this match at XBW, and we just beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, is that the
So
one with
bad.
the big one off the?
It was the big splash
Oh,
off the goalpost. But it was
madness.
so fun, man. Just meet that again. Like you don't really know someone, they come and stay at your house, and like 3 days later, we were like pretty tight, man.
Yeah,
That's a good thing about that's the thing you try and explain to people, like your backyard. Like you make really good friends, and you do have these experiences that you wouldn't have otherwise.
definitely not.
Like you get to meet really people you'd never ever have met before.
Yeah.
I do miss that about it, man. I'd say I do miss and a lot of the guys. I miss a lot of the guys as well. It's been so long.
Yeah. Yeah, it's odd. Like I think about people like say Farage and then like Short Round,
Oh
two
yeah,
guys who I would never have got on with just out of a normal social do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
within wrestling, you get in there, you have a match, and you somehow form this weird bond because you both like the same kind of thing. And
yeah. I think as well when you have certain chemistries with people, like if you have a good wrestling chemistry with someone,
yeah,
you can have a really good bond with them just over. You get in there and it's just easy and it's really works well. And there's definitely some people that I've got that I'm like, oh yeah, I still feel a bond to them now because of how easy I knew it was wrestling them and how much fun I had wrestling them.
yeah.
Um, yeah, man.
I find it weird how that works because that doesn't happen with everyone.
No,
There are certain
yeah.
people who it just works, you know.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's just
Weird.
it's weird stuff like timing of moves, and
Yeah,
also I think I relied a lot on just doing stuff and hoping. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd just take someone down or do some. I didn't call everything, and some people aren't very good at that. If you just
yeah,
go to do stuff and actually try and work someone and wrestle them, some people kind of are like, "What are you doing?" And you're like, "I'm doing an armbar, man." Like,
yeah.
So that was partly it, I think, as well. I didn't want to have to call every single like, "I'm gonna tie up now, and then I'm gonna get you in a waist lock." I didn't want to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's not fun if you do that, if you plan everything.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, some people kind of. I've had people as well before where they'd plan every single tiny little thing, every reversal to every hold, and you're like, I'm not gonna remember that, man. I'm really not. Just tell me the big spots. And
Right, so I guess EW ended. I mean, did
yeah,
you wrestle much on your own fed, or was that kind of gone by that point?
that yeah, I
Yeah,
think we used to do here and there, but it was basically just practice. Like we wouldn't really do proper matches. We'd film it, but it was basically like, let's just practice this new move. So we'd have a match so I could try some stuff out. But
you say that. I'm sure I remember a comp that was just practice match or something.
oh yeah, I think we put out some shows called Practice Show, and it was just me and Matt, this was me and Rage, just doing trying to do like ranas and stuff,
Yeah.
or me trying to moonsault. I think there's a whole show where I spent the whole time trying to moonsault in a match. It was a 10-minute match, 9 minutes of me trying to moonsault before I gave up. I was like, yeah, we can't do that, but I had to try.
So I guess you took a bit of a break, didn't you? Because you weren't around for a while.
Yeah, I
You
did.
kind of wrestled here and there, at random shows,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
it was EWE ended. I was hurt at the time. My arm got a little bit better. I did some NMW shows and some BBWF shows, but that was about it, man. I just did a few of those for a while.
Yeah.
Um, and then I hurt my arm again at that BBWF show, and then I took some more time off, and then I think I came back at International Incident or something, and it was
Yeah.
an event in the ring against
Steve.
Steve, yeah. So there's a good couple of months in between getting hurt the second time and that. Um, Probably less than a year though, probably 10 months, something like that.
Yeah.
I had a really shitty girlfriend at the time as well who hated wrestling, so it was so hard trying to like. I used to just go to shows and then come back with like black eyes and stuff, and she was like, "Where have you been?" I was like, "I went to a show." So that kind of didn't help either. And then yeah, I started doing NAW the first time round.
So what did you make of NAW then when that started up?
I thought it was cool, man. I think the mats were too hard,
Yeah.
and I think they were pretty killer, and we probably all shortened our lifespans due to those mats. But no, it's good. It felt like a.
That was a bit dark, man. I mean,
Sorry.
you could have said shortened our careers, but lifespans.
Well, I took some heavy bumps, man.
No, I agree. I agree.
You know, like the first person that dies, it's going to be like, oh, Alec predicted that, man. Predicted that.
It was the NAW mats.
Fucking hell, we're going to start suing the leisure centre.
Suing Farrell.
Yeah, go straight to him, man. He's got loads of money from Backyard. He made a ton of money off it, selling DVDs. No, I liked it. I thought it was cool. It was nice. It did feel a lot more like, I guess it was kind of the extension of Interfeds, wasn't it? Because there were so many people down from different places. So it did feel very like, it was a nice organic thing. I only did a few shows the first time around, so
Yeah.
I don't really know too much about what it was like going however often they did it.
Yeah. Well, one match I wanted to ask you about, it's one of my favourites, was when you wrestled Dave at Southern Britfest
Oh yeah,
in 2006.
yeah.
And you were saying that you liked wrestling him. I always loved the matches you had together, all like before way at Betterfest, but that one was just fucking
Yeah.
madness. It was
Yeah,
just
man.
so hard hitting. Just
Because I think I'd come back and I had that match against Steve-O, and then I think maybe I had one more match, and I had a match against Selby, which I was really disappointed with because I felt so rusty.
really,
Yeah, I was really disappointed, man. We could have put on a really good match, and I just felt like at that time I just wasn't quite there yet. Coming back off this injury, I just felt
yeah,
like
fair enough.
I'd kind of not really done much for a few months. So when it came around to Dave, I knew that was going to be a good match anyway. I also kind of knew I'd have to stop because of college. So I was like, I'm going to have to stop. Or was it uni? Shit, it might have been uni. 2006. Would have been uni, I think. I was like, okay, I'm going to have to stop because I've got to concentrate on my studies and that. So I kind of went into it a little bit knowing it'd probably be the last. It wasn't in the end, but no.
Yeah.
Because that's the way Backyard works, man. You can't ever say no, can't say this is it. So yeah, I think again, same with all me and Dave's matches, it was kind of, I probably went overboard, but let's just go hard and, hit each other. And
Yeah.
there are a few bits in that match where I feel like I probably hit him too hard. And he hit him, we ended the match, we both had lumps and stuff. It wasn't the best idea, but it was a good match, yeah, it's fun.
I just remember those fucking death plexes and the crowd was just going mental.
Yeah.
It was on Dave. I mean,
Well, because I think as well at that time David just lost weight, or he lost
a bit.
So that was the first time like I could have really done it. So I remember just being like, man, I've got this idea thing, and he's like, no, you should do like 5 of them. He's like, do a German, then do a dragon, then do a tiger, and I'll hold my neck, and then push the ref out the way, and then do another dragon. So it was like, okay, all right, let's see how far we can take it. That was fun though, man. That was cool.
Yeah. Was that the last time you wrestled for a while then?
Yeah, that was it for 3 years.
Yeah, that's right. You came back in, I think, 2009.
Yeah, I just came. I don't know
NAW.
why. Yeah, it's just I think someone had the idea. Maybe it was Farrell said, "Would you want to do a show?" And I was like, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, okay, let's. I kind of wanted to know if I could a little bit
Yeah.
because it had been so long. But no, that was. I think the first match I had at NAW was a little bit disappointing because again I was so rusty, man. I got blown up in like a minute. I went out tied up and was like, oh my god. And I remember having to like tag myself out and stood on the corner like, fuck, I can't even breathe now. But then the next day I had a match against Ty, against John at the BBWF show, indoor show, that I thought was really good.
Yeah.
And that made me go, oh right, I can still kind of do this. That was a lot of fun though, that show.
In those 3 years that you didn't wrestle, was there ever like, were you thinking, oh, I get the itch to wrestle? Or
not really, man.
kind of
a little bit, but I think it was more, I kind of had accepted.
moving on.
And also I think I was so happy with that match against Dave that I said, if that's going to be the last match, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's like, that is all I wanted, is to have that really good last match. And to be honest, I was kind of happy not being hurt all the time. I don't think people talk about it enough, but as a backyard, like, I was used to being hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd get up and you'd have a bad back, and you'd go to college and you'd have a bad ankle, and then the next week you'd have a sore neck. And so it was nice to not have little nagging injuries.
Yeah.
I think I did miss it though. I mean, I miss it now. Like, you know, I think, oh man, if I lost some weight and like did a bit of training, I could probably like do a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't, man. But there's part of me that's still like, I wonder if I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be there. It's always going to be like, I wonder if, you know, you just want to see if...
Yeah. How are you now? You pain free, or you still got the little niggle?
No, I'm good. I mean, my elbow's not the best. It clicks, and it's a bit... I've got bone chips in it. But, I mean, aside from that, I don't really have... I'm fully recovered kind of thing.
That's good.
Which is good. Yeah, it's just little things, you know, over the years that I got used to always having a slightly bad ankle, and I got used to having a little pain here and there. And so when you stop for a while, it's nice to actually be injury-free, yeah. But I do miss it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, trying to think now what you did in NAW in 2009. You did a match with Ross.
Yeah, so I came back and I did, that was basically, I did that first show, which was just as Ty's like tag team. I think that was the whole plan. It was because Ross at the time was doing like a Legends Killer thing, where he was beating guys that were kind of hadn't wrestled for a bit, and kind of those guys, old school guys. So then I think they asked me back and said, oh, we're going to build this match with Ross. Do you want to come do some shows? So I think I wrestled with Ashley Dunn and Jack Fox.
Okay.
Which was just these little kind of matches.
Yeah.
Leading up to this match against Ross. So yeah, they were okay. They weren't, you know, they were just kind of technical things. And
I found that a bit frustrating at that time because you wrestled Ross at Britfest that year.
Yeah.
And I was doing a massive feud with Ads. And you know, I turn up and I'm like, okay, you're wrestling Ashley Dunn. And I'm like, oh great. And then Steve's like, yeah, you got 5 minutes. And I'm like, what do you mean I've got 5 minutes? You know, like. Little things like that would bug me. Like, I'd want to have better matches, and it just seemed like, oh, well, you just got to do a match and whatever. But anyway, yeah. So, sorry. Your match with Ross, how was that at Britfest?
It was alright, yeah. I think it was probably more than I could handle at the time, maybe. Just because it was such a punishing... Some of the stuff we did really knocked me for 6. So I do remember by the end of it, kind of... being glad it was over. It was a fun match, and we actually had this big spot planned. There's a bit in the match where I drop kick a chair into his face. He was going to bleed. He was going to get some colour, as they say. But you guys had just had your match.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, but I think I've said this to you before, like the bit where you versus Ads, where you wrap the t-shirt around your eye.
Yeah.
I thought that was a spot that you planned.
No,
and I was like, man, that spot you planned where you did that, and you're like, no, it just happened. I think I was really like, it was so genius in the psychology, and you're like, no, it just happened, man. It was just
it's like a Terry Funk moment.
Yeah, it's awesome though. So that happened, and then Ross turned to me and was like, we can't do the blood now. I was like, it's all right. I don't think it would have suited him. No, I don't think. I don't. Has he ever bled before? I don't think it would have suited him. But yeah, no, it's just an idea for it to really put over how much I was beating him up. But I'm kind of glad, to be honest, because I think your spot was is a lot more memorable than
Yeah, I
if
think it was over that. I mean, I knew what I was doing. I was going to get a lot, but
No, I think it did make it. I think the whole. I just remember that in my mind, just being like, shit. I think that's the
yeah,
only because you didn't really get much blood in. They didn't really do it in NAW, did they? So
not much, no. And we didn't really. I don't think we even
yeah, I think
cleared it with
that's.
Farrell.
Oh yeah, man. Oh man, the table spot. Um, me versus Ross. He walks out the room, gets a
Oh
table.
God, yeah, yeah,
That was just like the leisure centres table. We hadn't
yeah.
spoke to Farrell about it. We'd been
No,
out back planning a match, and Ross said to me, "On you know what he's like. He's well sarky and that, and well just says stuff." And he's like, "Oh man, I'll grab this table and I'll powerbomb you for it." And I was like, "Yeah, all right, yeah, that's good. We'll do that." Thinking he was joking, just like, "Oh yeah, I'll grab this table." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, cool." And then he does it, and I remember looking at Farrell, and he's just like stone cold silent, just staring at us. I was like, "Shit, man."
yeah.
And then afterwards, he was like, "All right, tidy that up. Get rid of the evidence right now. Get rid of it." I was like, "Fuck." Went too far with that one, man. But it's cool. But no, he was pissed. He was so pissed at us.
Well,
I think on the commentary, I'm sure I've got the video on my computer. On the commentary, like he just stops talking.
yeah,
He sees it. He's like, "Oh my," and then just stops talking until like the spot's done. And then he's like, "Oh, and they're getting up," because I think he's
yeah.
just like grinding his teeth, like fuck.
Uh, there were more than one occasion like that in
Oh man,
NAW where
so funny.
stuff was broken.
Yeah.
Usually by Ross. I remember that you took the diamond head in that match,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you got up and you took another one on the
Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
And I remember actually I was just watching and I just leaned down and said to you, "You're right," because I just thought, "Fucking hell, it's
Well, that
going
was
a bit
stupid
far,"
as
you know.
well. I think we did the power bomb through the table, and then I think he diamond headed me, and then I got up, and then he did one again, and then I got up, and basically I was meant to take one and then just stay down. I just kept getting up, so you had to do like a power bomb to the outside. That was just me being stupid and just being in the moment, like I'm gonna get up again, and thinking, oh yeah, it was cool though. I think it looks cool. I think if you see because they were pretty horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I remember he'd done one actually. He'd done one to Rage a few weeks before at a show. Like he'd done a run in and did one. And
Yeah,
legitimately, I was worried about Matt because I swear he had concussion. Because we drove home, and then afterwards he's like, "Man, I can't. My eyes are funny." And I was like, "Fuck," you know. He definitely knocked him for 6 anyway. So I was a bit like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to really take it." And then I took like 2 of them. It's just like, oh, probably not the best idea. I haven't seen what it did to Rage, and then yeah, just say, all right, yeah, do it to me. That's fine. Bit silly, but that's quite a good match. I did enjoy it.
was that your last one then?
I did.
Oh,
That
no,
was
Heat
my
Fest.
last. That
Heat
was
Fest, wasn't
yeah. That was kind of my last one. I then did their XPB, their indie show. I
it?
did
Oh yeah, yeah.
against Farage.
How was that?
That was good. I think only ever proper indie show I've done. So it was pretty nervy. But I had some friends there, so it was all right. It felt good, but different experience, you know, having to do it properly, having to like go out and be like, oh, this crowd have paid to be here, and I've got to,
Yeah,
you
a
know,
bit
make sure
different.
yeah. So it's a little different, but I really enjoyed it. I'm still trying to get a copy of the match. Every like 6 months, I'll email Selby and be like, have you got a DVD of that match? And he's like, yeah, man, I'll find it. And it's been going on for a few years.
Was that Heatwave and Harlow? Was that the show?
Yes, yeah.
I have a DVD, so when I'm back home in
Dude,
the UK, I'll try and
dude,
sort it
when you
out for
get
you.
a chance, just like capture it or something, because I've been trying to get a match legitimately since 2009. I say try, and I just mean I just message Selby once every few months and go,
Yeah,
have you got any? He goes, oh, I don't know, and then I go, all right, and then I forget about it. Yeah, so there's that, and then my last ever event was Heat Fest.
yeah,
Yeah, which was pretty cool, man. That's a really good weekend.
yeah, definitely.
I got pretty hurt. It's good.
Through what?
I got. Well, do you remember I got really bad sunburn,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I got in that freeway match. I like hit my nose on the bottom rope because I'm a tard, and like hurt my nose. And I just remember being so beat up and tired, and just being like, oh, just being sunburnt and stuff. It's been like, oh, and then I had to go home early. We were meant to wrestle day 3, weren't we?
Yeah, we were gonna wrestle. I remember you
Yeah.
telling me that you had to go.
Yeah, my nan was ill, I think. And I remember just being like, getting this phone call and saying like, oh, your nan's ill. I was like, oh, she's going to beat up anyway. I was like, all right, I'm going to go because Matt was driving me back. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's a shame because I did enjoy the old school, new school match, but I wouldn't have wanted it to be my last match if I knew,
Yeah.
you know, because it was just kind of a spot fest. It was dark, you couldn't see
Yeah.
anything. Really.
I really liked that though, man. It was like it was a weird one because it got dark, so everyone put their car lights on the ring.
Mm,
It went on for ages, but it was
yeah,
just a lot of fun. I really liked it. It was
yeah.
good.
It was kind of well, that was one of those matches where fuck, who was I want to say Josh Wall, but I can't remember. I think Josh Wood come up to me and said, "Okay, I've got these spots we can do to start this match off, to start a bit off," and he had 5 minutes of stuff to do. And I was like, okay, and he ran it through, and I was like, okay, awesome. And then I got in the ring and forgot all of it. So I just suplexed him a couple of times and then tagged someone else in. And I felt really bad for that, but he had this whole thing, and I was like, yeah, man, that sounds wicked. That sounds wicked. Yeah, I'll do this. Knowing I'd forget it straight away. I feel bad for that. And then I just went in there. I was like, all right, I'm going to German you now. Yeah. I remember, I don't know why, but looking back now, those couple of matches I had with Jack Fox, I always seemed to just beat him up a little bit too much, and he was so small. Because in that match, I remember, like, I was so stupid. I put a chair on him in the corner, and then went for a drop kick, but basically just did a massive, like, M. Bison stomp.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And I think that was just being excited about, you know, being like, that match was very, like, yeah, wasn't it? It was very, like, spots, let's do some cool spots. It was cool, that it was fun. It was really
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, it wasn't like a great match, but it was just
No,
the
just
atmosphere and
like
everything
doing.
was.
I've never done like a plancha, and we
Yeah,
like get up on the thing,
it was
and I do
great.
one, and then like Farrell does one. It's really random. It was fun though. It was well fun.
Yeah, we had a little brief interaction in that match.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
was I was down at one of the corners, and you just threw a chair right at the back of my head without telling me. And it was one of those weird things where it really hurt, but it felt quite nice. Like it was a nice flat. It was a nice connection. It was like,
I do remember that. I think I had this chair, and I was just looking for you, and then I was like, you know when you like you do something, and as you're doing it, you're like, oh no, because I do remember thinking I'm gonna throw this at him, and then just doing it way too hard, and being like, oh shit. That whole match was like that though. That whole match was just. I think I was just so ramped and excited because I think we thought it wasn't going to happen, didn't we? I think they said, "Oh, it's dark. Oh, how are we going to do it?" And then,
yeah, there was some uncertainty, I think.
yeah, because the other match ran for a while and stuff. So I think by the time we got there, it was. I do remember Ads being really stoned and just like smiling at me throughout the whole match and be like, "Man, this is wicked, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, you should, you know, do some moves." It was cool though. It was fun.
Yeah, the something happened, right? I think we did a German or something,
Oh yeah.
and no wait, no, I called a German. You did a German on me, and then I think I said do a dragon, and I kind of dead weighted or something. I don't know why I did it, and I kind of ended up landing on your face or something.
Yeah, it was. Well,
So just an apology for that.
oh no, man. I would say though that that was my fault because 3 years before I could have Germaned or dragoned anyone. 3 years later, and I can't really bridge anymore, and so that was me just going, yeah, I'm going to do this move, and then me just kind of not really bridging. But no, that's alright, man. No worries. No worries.
Well, that's actually one thing that's really associated with you is the bridge. When did you start developing that look? I've never been able to do it. Like,
You know what
did you
was?
just start doing it? Or?
Yeah, it was literally me just practicing. Like, I don't know why, but I remember just being in my house, just practicing in the front room, trying to get like touch my feet, going backwards. But I don't know why. I don't know what made me want to start doing it. And then as soon as I could do it, I started doing Northern Lights,
Yeah.
just to practice. And then that turned into like Germans and dragons and stuff like that. And I don't know what made me want to do it in the first. I think it was watching people like. I remember having the first Ring of Honor event on video and watching American Dragon, watching Daniel Bryan do these like really sick. I think it's cattle mutilation, isn't it? His submission.
Yeah.
I think I was like, oh, I'm going to steal that move. So I think I was practicing to do that, But now I was very bendy when I was younger. That's a weird expression. I don't think I'm going to say that again in my life. I was very bendy. You know something about me? I was very bendy when I was younger.
So what do you think about it now? Like looking back, I mean, it's been over 5 years now. I guess
Yeah,
since you stopped wrestling.
yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's a weird kind of footnote. It's strange. Like,
Yeah.
I do feel like if ever there's a reason to write a biography or an autobiography, it'd be a really odd couple of chapters of like, and then this thing that took over my life for a good couple of years, you know. I feel like I've got a lot of good stories from it and stuff, and it's weird because you know there's not. It's hard to talk to people that don't know about it, you
It
know,
really is. Yeah.
because you try and explain it and they're like, "Oh, you're a wrestler," and then you go, "Oh, yeah," and you have to kind of go into what it's about, and yeah, it's a very strange. I think as well, it's kind of a product of the time, like you know, like the way we were doing it was such a product of like that time. I can't imagine kids. I guess they do. They do they? I don't know. Is there still backyarding
I was
in
thinking
that
about
same
this.
thing?
There's got to be people doing it, but
You'd imagine, wouldn't you? It
yeah,
just seems like it seemed like we were all kind of at that right age and doing it at that right time for there to be that community. I don't think there's ever going to be that kind of community again of people. I think as
no,
well having that and having the TV show, which then loads of people started really getting into it from that. But no, man, I definitely miss a lot of the guys, and I definitely miss wrestling. Sometimes I have ideas about spots and then realise there's, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm never going to use that.
yeah,
When I wake up and I'm like, oh man, that would make a really good spot. And I think, oh yeah, that's. I'll have to
okay.
reenact that in No Mercy.
Yeah, I do get that occasionally myself as well.
I think
But
backyarders have this thing, and I don't know if you'll agree, right? But I still have it from when I was 14. If I see like a pasting table, or like a steel chair, or anything like that, I'll think to myself, oh man, I should probably grab that. Or at work, we've got some light tubes in the bathroom at work, and still, when I saw them the other day, I was like, oh man, they're just going to spare. And I was like, oh, why would that matter? Like, but part of me still thinks it.
yeah,
Part of me's like, man, we could do something with that. I'll have to take that down the arena. Yeah.
yeah. I was up the shop a couple of months ago, and they had like a big cardboard box, and it just had loads of light tubes sticking out of it. And I just stopped and just thought for a second, just
Yeah.
like,
And then
you know what I mean?
you kind of think like, oh, who would use? And then you realise that
Yeah.
yeah, so funny, man.
It's also weird how we kind of think of ourselves as old and like,
Oh yeah.
but like backyard careers, you know, quote unquote, and people seen as legends and stuff. We're all, you know, kids pretty
Oh yeah.
much, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You've got to think most of us were from 14 to 18 or 19, and then maybe a little bit older, but, you know, it's a really short time. And then the people that stuck with it now, it's really nice, you know, I really do like the fact that, you know, I look at the wrestling magazines at work, and it is really nice to look through and go, I knew that guy. And
Yeah,
seeing all these indies and saying, oh, I wrestled that guy, I know that guy, I know that guy. I do enjoy that, and it's nice to see that people are really like stuck with it and are doing well for themselves.
definitely.
Does make me like happy that happy for them.
Yeah,
Or even like TV, I was flicking through TV before and I saw some guys on there, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Those guys are, you know, doing it still. So yeah, big on them. Good on them.
yeah. I think it's interesting as well because you can go years without talking to people who are part of that world, and then as soon as you speak to them again, it's pretty much like no time has passed because you've been through all that
Yeah, I think.
very unique experience together.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely, and I think you know it is such a weird thing to be involved in. It's such a weird experience that I think sharing that with anyone, it's easy. You know, it's easier than having to say to someone, "Well, when I was younger, I used to wrestle in a field." With film, you know, having to explain it to anyone is oh man. But no, it is nice, and I do sometimes. I haven't seen people for a while, but I saw Dave a couple of years ago. Came to my birthday a few years ago, and it was really nice seeing
Ah,
people like
cool.
that. And you know, you go, oh yeah, and it does. You kind of click again. You know, you're like, oh man. I spoke to ads fairly recently, and that was alright as well. It's kind of like, oh, you know, you do pick up straight away.
Definitely, yeah,
So that's nice. It's nice knowing that you can do that.
for
Um,
sure. I was in New Orleans in April
oh
last
yeah,
year for WrestleMania,
oh yeah, nice.
and I bumped into Gav, some of the Welsh guys.
Oh yeah,
Again, we just
oh
stood
yeah,
in the middle
yeah.
of the WrestleMania shop talking for like 40 minutes. I saw Pac in like a IHOP,
Oh really? Oh
and
nice.
because I never really knew him, I just
Oh
ran around to him. So I said, "You don't know me, but you know I know Selby and all that."
yeah.
And everyone's just, you know, really loving what you're doing and stuff. And yeah, I had a little chat with him. It was great.
Oh nice man. That's cool.
It's just funny how just again on the other side of the world you just bump into
Yeah,
someone who was part of it. It's
yeah.
just
That's the
like
thing. Yeah.
straight back onto chatting about it. Anyway, so anything else you want to add before
Um,
we wrap this up?
I don't know, man. Don't think so. I
Yeah.
think I'm
And any favourite
most
matches you have, like
all
proper, you know?
proper. Um, I would say probably my favourite match would have to be. I'm gonna say me Roadkill. It's probably my favourite match.
Yeah.
Um, because of the emotional side of it. I think any match I had with any Tyrant,
Oh yeah.
any any of it. I think we had 5 matches, um, something like that, and every single one of them was just awesome. And same with Dave. Any match I had with Dave was, I knew it was always going to be good, and I knew it's going to be something special.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'd say those ones.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for doing this.
All
This
right,
was
cheers. I hope it was
really
all right,
random,
man.
but we managed to do it.
My hangover's slightly clearing now, so I apologise if I'm not completely with it.
No, it's great, man.
It's
It
a
was
heavy
great catching
night.
up as well.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. Yeah,
But also a lot of stuff I
absolutely.
didn't really know about either because, me and you never really spoke that much. So
No, I think yeah, that's the thing. I think we were only really at a few shows together, I guess, weren't we?
yeah, it was when you came back in like
Oh
2011
yeah,
that we kind of spoke.
yeah. Nice one. You got any shows coming up that I can come to? Should we let's organise
Yeah,
something.
I'm
Let's.
hoping to go to one in July. It's
Oh yeah.
RWL up in Blackburn.
Oh nice.
Some of the
Oh,
Welsh guys are going up.
um, is there anyone we know that does that? I'm sure I've heard that before. Does anyone
Well,
do that?
Corey does it. That's his
Oh
fed,
right. Oh
and
right. I've definitely seen something on Facebook about it from
yeah,
someone.
I think like Alex and Chris Goodwin have been up
That's
there
it.
and wrestled and
That'd
stuff.
be it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Vanguard. Is that what they do? Yeah.
Oh no, no, they're doing like like little indie shows.
Oh really?
The Vanguard stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, because I saw that on Facebook recently, and I was like, oh, that's cool.
yeah, it is cool. It's Alex, Chris Goodwin, and Woodsy Titan.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
got a little stable going on.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I see the pictures in that, man. It looks like quite a nice little gimmick.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just shaved my beard off. Like, if I kept my beard, I could have just rolled up and like wore the colours. Been like, yeah, I'm like the 4th member, man.
Yeah, there's always that urge to just get back in there a little bit. And
Yeah,
I think we're all a bit old now.
yeah, man. I don't think I could take. I did the last thing I did wrestling wise. I did suplex my mate Carey, for a Christmas tree. That was the last wrestling related thing I did. It was a fisherman buster, I have to say. It wasn't just a suplex. The
All
fisherman
right.
buster through a Christmas tree. Um, yeah.
Well, all right. Well, here's one more thing before
Yeah.
we finish.
Yeah.
Do you ever think like, man, as great as that was, maybe I should have just like stuck to properly doing it and being a pro wrestler, or was that never a goal?
I think at a time it was. I think there was definitely a time
Yeah.
where I really, but I think as well, I went to, in my whole backyard career, I probably went to 4 different wrestling training schools,
Right.
and I just never really got on with any of them.
No,
And
I've been to a few.
I definitely felt like the guys that were going every week and paying every week were the guys getting booked on shows, because they obviously they want to reward their loyalty. But I remember being annoyed, only being 16, but being annoyed that these really unathletic guys were getting put on indie shows. Fair enough in like a battle royal, but getting really annoyed that they would get a spot over someone who's decent because they just went, and I just thought the whole system was a bit fucked. So I just
Yeah.
remember being like, not really. And then I guess when I came back, I just thought I want to try and do something more with like art, and I don't think I could have, seeing the guys that do it now who used to backyard, I don't think I could still be doing it now.
Yeah.
Just because it's such a toll on your life, your whole life
Yeah.
has to be based around it. And even though I love it, I don't think I could have made that sacrifice.
Yeah, me either. But I have thought about it, but I think just respect to those guys because you really have to put a lot of work in for a long time to get anywhere.
It's training, and it's I think if you want to do it proper, it's constant, and there's definitely part of me that thinks it would have been cool to do, but then I like the fact it was this weird chapter in my life. I like the fact that it was this couple of years where I had all these experiences, and I can think back to it and think, oh yeah, that was cool, and I can kind of go on and do other stuff. But no, it's definitely fun. Now and then I'll pull up some old comps and watch them.
Yeah.
I watch the Heat Fest documentary quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I find myself like, I'll have some time to spare. I'll be like, I'm just going to watch a little bit of that, and I tend to watch it quite a bit. Because
Yeah.
that was, just like fun, fun thinking back to those times.
I'm glad I did that. It's
Yeah,
a
it was
cool
cool,
little
man.
record.
It's nice to see like there's interactions with people and that.
Yeah.
Watching it, and there's this bit where people are talking, and it's like, oh man, it's fun.
It almost feels like I was part of like an exclusive little club that
Mm.
only like 100 or so people can really say, that they used to do something like that.
Yeah,
And even if you can't really explain it to normal people,
yeah,
you just have to reminisce with each other, I guess.
definitely, man. And it would be amazing to actually try and get people together. I know it never happened
That's
because
the thing, isn't it? It always seemed to needed to be a wrestling show to be, for people
yeah,
to meet up and stuff.
that's the thing. Even people are really trying to do something, and then I would say just strip away any context of it being a show and just be like, guys, just one day can we
Yeah.
meet somewhere and just like hang out for a day and just see. It'd be like a weird school reunion, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like we'll make banners and stuff, and we'll wear suits and like be like Hall of Fame.
I remember someone was discussing actually quite a few years ago they were going to do a get together and have like a little, like a book a room out and stuff. And I was like, it sounds nice, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah, because as soon as people will be like, firstly, you'll spend a year trying to organise one day where people can do it. But it would be fun, man. It'd be nice to see. There's definitely some people that I really like to catch up with. But...
Yeah, I think we all meet up with little groups of people and stuff, but there's never going to be that big gathering again.
No.
Like, I mean, me and you, we're not really that close. We're probably never going to meet up just us two,
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But, yeah, hopefully somewhere down the line we'll organise something where it's kind of an interfed without the wrestling.
Or I've got just an idea. If I get some tyres and some mattresses, right? You come up with a Fed name. I'll buy
Right.
some kick pads.
Yeah.
And we'll sort something out, man. Get some people down. I'm just to put it out there, right? I'm going to be champion.
Okay.
Before we disagree about it,
Yeah.
we can have a match for the title, but I'm going over.
Okay.
And then I'm holding that title for at least 2 years.
Well, we need the Fed name for us. Will be extremely old wrestling, or
It has to have extreme without the E, so it has to be X.
oh, of course, yeah.
I don't mind what the abbreviated thing is. We'll figure something out, man. I'll start drawing up some logos.
Okay, cool.
If you can get a website going on, just to put up the videos and that.
On like free webs or something.
What was the one thinking of? Angel Fire? Do you remember Angel Fire? That was one of those. Or Homestead. Homestead was one I remember using. That was shit. If you set up that, we get a .nip.net name, a really catchy and yeah, and then we'll take some pictures of all the guys and do like a roster page.
Yeah.
We should just do that for fun. That'd be so funny. Just set up a website and like just pretend and do all the stuff and like it'd be so funny.
Write fake shows.
Yeah, it comes full circle, man. We start writing up fantasy shows and then be like, yeah, GBH went over with a 450 off a roof.
Finally learnt a moonsault.
Yeah. I just couldn't do it, man. It used to so annoy me. I just couldn't do it. I had the funk moonsault down to a T, but
yeah, I could do a bit of a funk moonsault.
oh, I tried so hard. I wasted so much time after school trying to do those.
You mentioned Angel File though. I mean, it's weird how like we had those small comps. I remember I had to make a comp that was under 20 megabytes to upload it.
Well,
Whereas now it's just like so wide open in terms of what you can upload and.
Because with dial-up, it was 14 megabyte video would
Yeah.
take at least 2 hours. And think about that, like you'd download something and have to wait 2 hours for it to download a really shitty quality, 5-minute video. It's funny I've still got some, man. It's so funny that I've kind of, for all the computers I've had, I've always like passed them on to my other computers and sometimes I do go through them and like the quality is I wish someone had kept some of the stuff in higher quality,
Well, I know Farage has like an archive of like all like UVW best of the best and all the tapes, but he just doesn't know how to convert them, because they're like old format and whatever.
Yeah, some of that stuff would be amazing to actually like get a high quality just to see some of them at the time, and it's just like sprites, isn't it? You just look at it, it's just like these shadows wrestling. You can't really make anything out. Even to the point that back in the day when you'd meet someone, you weren't really sure if it was them because the quality in the videos was so bad. You couldn't really work out what they looked like. And you'd be like, I think that's that person, but I've only seen them really pixelated. Like Prime Watch photo, like I think that's them. Maybe they wore that hat in that comp, so I'm gonna go ahead and say hi.
Yeah, it's a funny time. A unique time, to say the least. And just as you started talking about bad quality comps, the quality of your voice went down.
Oh, did it? Oh no.
It's quite funny timing. But, let's call this a day then. Thanks for doing this, man. Appreciate you very quickly at the last minute coming on doing it.
Yeah, that's alright, man. Yeah, it's fun to do, and it's nice catching up.
Yeah, definitely, man.
You can say, man, I'll shoot over some ideas for that Fed.
So yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry.
I'll just email you a list of all the matches I'm going to win, and some sketches of my new attire.
Alright, so that was it, the conversation with GBH. Hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to the next episode, which will be next week, where Alex will be hosting a show. So yeah, that should be good. I'm looking forward to listening to it myself. I actually haven't listened to it yet. And thanks for listening, and stay tuned to the website, and or just the UKBYW Facebook page, I guess, the kind of spiritual sequel to the forum. But thanks for listening, and we'll see you with the next one.